happening here? Wow, look at this. Amazing colors, amazing flavors. We let the spices kind of fry for a couple of minutes and make this skillet nice and saucy. I love this recipe because it really has your 5 a day. Happy Cinco de Mayo to all of you celebrating. To mark the occasion, today I'll be cooking a Mexican-inspired recipe. It will be a one-pan recipe, full of color, full of flavors, and cheese, of course. So we're making a Mexican chicken, bean, and veggie skillet. Let's get started. So the first step is to prep all the vegetable. I'm gonna take these to my sink and I'm gonna give them a good rinse. I'm gonna slice the pepper and I'm gonna make thin strips. Then we're gonna slice the onion. So for the onion, we can also leave it into slices today instead of mincing it small. I love this recipe because it really has your 5 a day portion of vegetables. For the garlic, I'm gonna use a garlic press just to mince it nice and fine. Then for the zucchini, we can cut it into small cubes. And then finally, the broccoli. So for the broccoli, I'm just gonna remove the stems and then cut into small florets. And the final steps for the vegetables is to rinse the beans. Now, the prep for the vegetables is done, so let's start by frying our chicken. Once the pan is hot, I'm gonna add the chicken breasts. These breasts that I'm using today are quite thick, so I'm gonna reduce the heat and let them cook for at least 6-7 minutes per side. I'm gonna add a little bit of salt as well. I'm gonna turn them around now. They have a nice beautiful color, and we'll need another 5 minutes on this side. So now my chicken seems fully cooked through, and you can see it has a beautiful, nice golden color. I'm gonna move them on a plate. And we're gonna use the same pan. And then I'm gonna start with the peppers and onions. I'm gonna add a pinch of salt, and then let my peppers and onions just get a little bit softened for a couple of minutes before adding the rest of the vegetables. So now I'm adding the rest of the vegetables. I'm gonna add in the tomato paste. Tomato paste is gonna add a bit of thickness into the sauce and also the seasoning. So I'm gonna use some chipotle and some taco seasoning. Both are quite spicy. So if you have little ones, then you could try to mimic this flavor profile with some smoked paprika, some sweet paprika, maybe a bit of cumin. But I'm gonna go all out with the spices today. I'm mixing everything well together. We let the spices kind of fry for a couple of minutes. We're gonna add the chicken back to the pan. So I'm using some already cooked kidney beans. And then finally, a little bit of water. The water is gonna make this skillet nice and saucy. Stirring everything, and then I'm gonna cover it with a lid. So I'm gonna let my pan here simmer for about 3-4 minutes. Meanwhile, I can rinse and chop the coriander. I'm gonna use the coriander as a garnish. It's very typical in Mexican cuisine. I'm gonna reduce the heat on the pan. See what's happening here. Wow, look at this. Amazing colors, amazing flavors. I'm gonna add in the sour cream. I have some mozzarella cheese and some cheddar cheese. I'm stirring everything really gently. And then we're gonna wait for the cheese to melt. And the final touch is just a nice sprinkle of freshly chopped coriander. And that's it. I hope you enjoyed this fast and delicious Mexican-inspired recipe. For more recipes like this, you can click here. But for now, bon appétit!